I'm Nani Vazana and I'm a Ladino songwriter. I'm performing at the Manchester Jewish Museum on October 27th, and I'm now live on BBC Radio. I'm actually waiting for them to send me a little Zoom link so I can go on air and talk to the presenter. I hope you guys want to join. You can also find the link here in the description if you want to listen live on BBC. They're also going to broadcast one of my songs, No tiene hija, no tiene amiga, which means without a daughter, without a friend. My cat is here trying to, demolish the microphone as I speak. She might get into the photo, into the image. Let's see how it goes. Hey, Rebecca. Good morning. Can you hear me? Hey, Rebecca, that's Nani. Hey. Oh, yeah, I can hear you now. Great. Okay, I'll hang on for a second. I don't know if you can hear Rebecca. She was just on Zoom. We're going to go and dive into the recording very shortly of the show. It's actually aired live on BBC Radio in the UK. So if you want to, tune in. Hi, good morning, David. Hi, thanks for logging in. So if you want to listen, please go to the link below. And this is an interview about my upcoming show at the Manchester Jewish Museum on October 27th, which will be a sort of a WOMEX after party private showcase, because in addition to having tickets sold to the wide public, we will also invite some presenters from WOMEX conference. It's the World Music Expo that is happening in Manchester next week. So we will be able to also present my music to some people from the music industry and then hopefully book some concerts in more countries. So before we go on air, I think we have a couple more minutes. So I'm going to tell you that I am crowdfunding for a new trombone, a custom-made trombone with a beautiful company in the United States. I'm going to be endorsed by them. They're called BAC Musical Instruments, and they're going to match all the donations that I will collect through crowdfunding and help me create my own design, my own custom-made instrument, which will mean that I can choose the materials, I can choose the size, I can tailor it so it will actually fit into online cabins. So that means like when you travel by plane, I will be allowed to take my instrument in the plane with me most of the time to try to let you check it in, but it's it's an ordeal, and we don't like that as musicians because we are often having problems with that because the instrument can be damaged. If you looked at some of my videos that I posted recently, you will see that my trombone is broken because of several airline incidents. So if you wanted to support and help me get a new instrument, you can go to nanimusic.com/support and choose your favorite reward. You can also just make a contribution without a reward. You name your own amount, and you'll be helping me acquire a professional instrument that, of course, is new and not broken, but also will level my my playing into a completely different scope because it will be, tailored to my specific needs. So it will make me a better player, and also will make it easier for me to bring beautiful music closer to you. One of the most amazing thing about that custom instrument is the design, because what I want to do is to put an emblem on the bell that will showcase my grandmother's heritage. It's the Ladino tribe speaking from Morocco. It's a Tuareg tribe, so their symbol is going to be prominently presented on the bell. So that's also relating a lot to the interview that we're going to do now about Ladino music and my new album Que Haber, which means what is new, where I touch on modern topics, millennial topics, in an ancient endangered language. The Ladino language is hi Luke, hey, thanks for logging in. So the Ladino language is an ancient Jewish language, Sephardic language that was spoken in the Iberian Peninsula, that's Spain and Portugal of our time, in the Middle Ages. My grandmother used to speak it, and although we were forbidden to speak it at home by my father, my grandmother was very stubborn, luckily, and she still maintained a connection for me with the language. I still heard her speak Ladino at home, especially when we were cooking, singing songs, and telling stories. That's also how my great love for fairy tales began. And today, my music, the new songs that I write in Ladino, are inspired a lot by fairy tales, but we're going to talk about it right now on an interview. Hey, Rebecca. Yeah, sure. I'm ready to go on. Let's listen to the song first. This is No Tiene Hija, No Tiene Amiga, without a daughter, without a friend. This is BBC Radio in the UK. Thank you for watching.
To find out more about the ancient sound of Jewish language, I want you to have a listen to this.
Hey Miriam, thank you for logging in. What's the song about? So it's a song about a mother and a daughter. A lot of the songs in Ladino, generally, scripture or literature in Ladino, are about mother-daughter relationships. That's because Ladino is a language that was spoken by the women of the Jewish society in the Middle Ages in Spain and Portugal of the Middle Ages. And they were singing about things that they knew. So if we were to look at their lives, what did they have prominently featured in their lives? So their own relationships with their daughters, their neighbors. So there's a lot of gossip because that's how you got news back then. The relationships with the daughters were often complex because they were singing about unattained love, because marriage was arranged back then. They were talking about being held in golden cages, because although a lot of these families had good resources to live back then in Spain and Portugal, some of them felt like they were trapped in their own story. Another thing that is prominently featured is recipes, because passing recipes to each other is a good way to communicate. The women kind of created the language on their own because they had to somehow maintain their lives while the men went to synagogue and were mainly involved in speaking Hebrew and not so much in speaking Ladino. So it's a language that was created by the women. And since they were speaking to other women, then a lot of the topics are primarily about women relationships. And like in this song, although it's a song that I wrote myself and it's a modern song, it still features this kind of relationship between mother and daughter. Also in the Sephardic tradition, the mother-daughter connection is considered the more pure and the highest kind of love there is in existence. So this is often being praised as, the highest love value, or, being put forth as an interesting example to how life works. And this is kind of what I tried to capture in my song, No Tiene Hija, No Tiene Amiga. You can find it on my new album, Que Haber, which means what is new in Ladino. That's kind of funny, you know, it's a wordplay. What's new in a dead language? You can find it on my website, nanimusic.com/store, but of course in all the streaming services, Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, Pandora, Tidal. Actually, Tidal is the best streaming platform because they actually pay artists. So you can get it there, but the best way is to get it on my website. We have it in CD form, in vinyl form. It's right here behind me. These two vinyls are on my website as well, and also in MP3 form, so you can just download it directly to your phone. Yeah. Hey, Rebecca. Yeah, good. We're gonna go on. Hey, good morning. Hey, good morning. Thank you for having me.
How amazing does that sound? That is a sound of ancient Jewish language being sung by Nani Vazania. She is a Jewish musician and one of the only artists in the world that actually writes and composes a new song in the endangered Ladino language. She's performing at Manchester's Jewish Museum this month, and I'm so happy to say that she joins me now. Hello to you, Nani.
Hi, good morning. My name is actually Nani Vazana and not Vazania.
Okay, my apologies there on that pronunciation.
Thanks.
Tell me a bit more about how you got into discovering this language and deciding to bring this to light for us all.
My grandmother used to speak it when I was a child. One of my first memories when I was 4 years old is her singing a lullaby in Ladino for me. Unfortunately, she passed away when I was 12. But I was already performing with my own music at my 20s around the world, and I was invited to play a show in Morocco. And after the show, I went to her hometown to kind of look for my roots. And I heard people singing on the street in Ladino, which was a flashback moment for me, which was pretty amazing, actually. And it kind of brought me back into researching the language and then now writing new songs, like the song we just heard, which is called No Tiene Hija, No Tiene Amiga.
I want to know how old the language is.
I mean, I can't say for sure, but it's at least 500 or 600 years old. It was present in the Iberian Peninsula in the Middle Ages, so Spain and Portugal of our times. There is some scripture from the 11th and 13th century, but I think songs are mostly from the 14th and the 15th and the 16th century.
What I've really enjoyed there is when you were telling me about your memories of your nan, that when she was singing a lullaby to you.
Yeah.
Was this a language that you used in your home?
No, my father is a purist, so he refused to hear that language at home. I guess it's also because his family came from Morocco as refugees, so he wanted to leave the past behind him. So we were forbidden to speak it at home. So my grandmother was stubborn, fortunately. So she taught me Ladino and she sang songs or told stories, especially as we were cooking or if we were left alone, if my parents needed a babysitter and I was alone with her. And she, persisted in letting me know more about the language and my roots.
Was that for you a point where you could you mentioned there about your roots, but was it like mysterious because did you understand what she was singing to you?
Not everything. No. I mean, I was very young. I guess, like I said before, around 4 years old is when I kind of realized it was a different language. And then I didn't, because Ladino was not spoken at home. So some of it she had to spell it out for me. She said, okay, this is how you say a bee, and this is how you say a pot, and this is how you say aubergine. But then I wouldn't understand the entire lyric content, but the stories, I think when she would explain them, the feeling was still there. So even though I was, a small child that didn't speak the language on a regular basis, I could still connect emotionally to the content of what she was trying to put forth. And I guess this feeling is still here with me today when I write in this language. I think that the reason it's so heartfelt, it's because I still feel like a child when I sing in this language. So the experience that you convey to the listeners is also your own experience.
Now, you write your songs with a contemporary feel, and you mentioned there about you were having to get explanations for it. Are you going to be doing that? Are you going to be translating when we come to see you at the Manchester Jewish Museum?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I tell stories before each song, especially because nobody hardly speaks Ladino. I mean, people who speak Spanish will understand about 70% of it, but most people don't, especially in the UK or in the United States, where I often have concerts. So I usually tell the entire story. The songs also each have their own dedicated story. They're all about themes. I'm a very thematic writer. So yeah, I think it will be nice because we'll touch on subjects such as millennial subjects such as gender and female empowerment and migration and creating your own fairy tale. So modern narratives, the evolution of tradition and stuff like this. And I think a lot of people can connect emotionally to these topics.
Yeah. And tell us about the show at Manchester Jewish Museum. It's a gorgeous venue that you're going to be performing at. Have you ever performed there before?
No, it will be my first performance there. I have been to Manchester before. I played at the Manchester Jazz Festival at St. Anne's Church. And also at the Manchester Natural History Museum, that was also related to the Manchester Jazz Festival. So actually, I like the city a lot. I got to visit a lot because I was commissioned to write a new piece for the Manchester Jazz Festival. So I got to visit about 5 or 6 times for rehearsals and devising moments before we actually done the performance. And I'm touring in the UK 3 or 4 times a year. I'll be back in June also for the Cambridge Folk Festival.
Wow. And one of my questions here that I'm kind of really intrigued by is how important is your faith to your work?
Oh, not so much. I'm not a religious person, but I am very much a person who loves fairy tales. So, and I even have my own show on Dutch television where I tell a bedtime story and sing a song. It's all stories and songs that I write myself. So, I mean, tradition very often connects to these kind of materials, believing in magic. And I think that is kind of the source of my connection to faith or tradition through fairy tales.
I love that. And your new album is out now. It's called, I hope I say this right, Kehaba?
Kehaber, yeah. It means what's new.
And we can download that. We can follow you on social media as well.
Yeah, Nani Vazana. And you can also go to my website, nanimusic.com. I'm actually, at the moment, crowdfunding for a new trombone. I'm also a trombone player in addition to playing piano.
Wow, okay, thank you for that one. Nani, thank you so much for joining me here today on BBC Radio Manchester. And Nani is playing at Manchester Jewish Museum on Sunday, the 27th of October, between 7 and 8 p.m. It's BBC Radio Manchester. And if you've just come in partway through that interview, why not head over to BBC Sounds where you can listen to that in full.
Thank you so much, Nani.
Thank you.
That's wonderful.
Thank you so
Have a really
much.
good time in Manchester when you come.
Thanks. I hope to see you at the show.
Thank you. Bye now.
So thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for all the beautiful comments. I'm going to go and reply right now to everyone. If you wanted to hear more about my music, please join the newsletter. It's on my website, nanimusic.com. Social media won't tell you the whole story, so it will be nice if you go on the website and sign up for the newsletter. You can also DM me here on Instagram or on Facebook or on Twitter with your email address, and I will add you personally to the newsletter. I only send the newsletter once in 2 or 3 months, so it's not spammy, and very often it will feature a little gift, so like a free song or tickets to a concert or information about a new release that will be exclusive for newsletter subscribers. And sometimes I even, ask my subscribers about some decisions to make about the new record or which cover to choose, which artwork, which single to release first. So you can also weigh in on some decisions. And if you wanted to support my new trombone crowdfunding. It's a little bit like a Kickstarter or a GoFundMe campaign, but it's on my own website. You can find the information on nanimusic.com/support. And if you're already here on social media, go ahead and click the follow button below so we can stay in touch. The new album Kehabel, which is right here, behind me, the colored vinyl right there, is on my website on nanimusic.com/store, and it also exists in a CD form and MP3 form. And right now, during the crowdfunding, all the orders will go out signed. So if you're ordering a CD or a vinyl, or a t-shirt, or even a songbook, or anything else, or a baby onesie, they're kind of cool actually, they will come signed, or maybe a signature on a separate photo, whatever you like. So head over to nanimusic.com, and I hope to see you at the show at the Manchester Jewish Museum on October 27th, or at Womex. If you wanted to make an appointment with me, you can. Thank you so much for being a part of this live stream, and see you very soon again. Bye for now.